Guys, what is going on? Today we are going to talk about the top 10 mistakes that I have made when buying a trailer. Hey, so keep it in mind, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button below. Don't forget to read the description, a lot of helpful links in there. Here we go. So I have bought a lot of trailers in my day, way too many that I can even really remember. I tried to look for all the pictures, I just don't have all the pictures available of all the trailers. Quite a few custom made ones, even just some local fabricators, bought a lot of used ones, galvanized, aluminum, steel, gooseneck, bumper pull, enclosed, all the above. And there is always something that I regret, or I wish that the trailer had, or I wish I would have done differently, this, that, the other thing. It's kind of, you wish you had like 10 trailers because they all are good at one specific thing. I want to tell you the things that I did in particular here that I regret, hopefully help you avoid making the same mistakes. This is the longest trailer that I've had by far, and it has finally become an adequate size to meet my needs. And it's going to be a 28-foot flat deck here, and then you have a 5-foot dovetail here on the back as well. And by the time you add on, for me, a tractor, most of them are not going to be this big even, but even like a 2 series tractor, 1 series, 3 series, that kind of thing. You got a loader on it, you got a brush hog on it, you have 20 feet right there. And you really don't want to max out your entire trailer just with the machine. You want to have some room to spare so you can balance things properly as well. And finally, 33-foot overall length here has become adequate. And I can't tell you how many 14-foot, 16-foot, 18-foot, 20-foot trailers I've had that just didn't meet the needs. So I think after years of trial and error, I've finally hit the nail on the head with the right length for me. So there's a lot of ramp choices out there depending on the trailer that you're looking at. Obviously if you have a tilt deck, for instance, there's not really ramps involved with that. But on something like this, that's gonna be a fixed type deck, you gotta have some sort of ramps on the back. I've had just about everything except for a hydraulic dovetail. I really wanted to get that on this trailer here, but it was, well, very, very expensive to add that on, and also weighed so much more that it cut into the load capacity for the trailer here, so I opted not to do that. This has been my favorite ramp setup that I've had to date. These are going to be the monster ramps here, where they flip up like this, flip back down. They can be stored in the up position if needed, and you can also, when they're in the folded position, drive equipment on here and then use that as additional space as well. For years I had trailers with either pull-out ramps from the side or pull-out ramps from the back that you would then hang on here. Most of them didn't come with any kind of a retainer rod or pin. A couple of them did. With a design like this right here, you have a complete ramp going all the way down, except for a little skinny gap there in the middle. It's super solid. It's permanently, part of the trailer here. You can see the frame that's welded in place here, and then rigidly tied in place here as well. So it's a very secure, very safe feeling coming on and off the trailer. Not that I ever had an accident with the other setup, but I can tell you it was always in the back of my mind. If you have the extra money, it's definitely worth getting a setup like this. Yeah, so tires are one of the things that you kind of figure out after you go along. And my last trailer, for instance, it was an aluminum, American Hauler was the brand, 20-foot car hauler. Came with the cheapest possible tires that were on there. I don't really remember if there was an upgrade option or not. There probably was. It seems like there normally are if you're going to buy a tractor or a trailer new. So on this PJ trailer, when I custom ordered it here, this is going to be a tandem axle setup, but it's going to be a single tire, a single wheel on either side. There's not a dually setup here as far as the tires go on either side. I went with a Load Range G tire that's on here. Definitely a big upgrade. I think it's a 14-ply tire as well, if I recall. Yeah, 14-ply rating tire that's on here as well. So these are just what I need. So when I got that aluminum trailer with the cheap tires on it, I had 3 blowouts on it in the first 6 months. It was insane. So I went to my local tire shop here and just had all of them around, upgraded with a heavier duty tire along with the spare as well. And the same thing actually happened on my enclosed trailer as well. On the first load that I had with it, I blew a tire on there. And I am not one to overload a trailer. This is just going down the road, hauling well within the design limits for the trailer, blew them out. So I was sick and tired of paying for tires. Went with the upgraded ones. So far, so good on these. Hey, so I got a question for you guys, but what do you guys do to seal or treat your boards? Okay, so I've never actually done that before. I've been considering doing it here, and I have read just everything under the sun about this product working, the same product somebody else says it doesn't work. The Thompson's deck sealer, use an old motor oil or whatever else to go on here, different kinds of sealers, all that kind of stuff. It's just been, it's all over the board. So what are you guys having success with as far as sealing your boards here? Are you letting them weather for a little while and then sealing them, power washing? How are you doing it? It just seems advice is all over the board. I'd like to know what you guys had success with and what didn't work for you. And while I'm asking questions, I want to ask you one more. I keep hearing about airbags, that they're the way to go. Obviously, this is sitting at a very awkward angle here. This handles the load just fine, but I'm still told that airbags really improve the ride of the truck. So what's the positives, what's the negatives? I've heard that there's a lot of trouble with them, but is there a certain type that is pretty much problem-free? Can I do this myself? Don't need to have a dealer install it? Any other options out there? So traditionally, I've been a ratchet strap guy, using straps, easier to work with. You know, you can really get them into different locations where chains are really just going to mess up equipment. You know, that sounds trivial, but I like my equipment to be clean, new, the paint in good condition, as well as safely securing the piece of equipment that I'm hauling. So along that note, I typically have used a flat hook, J hook like this. You know, like using the stake pockets where you can put it right down in there, then bring it up around and have gravity do its thing. However, I posted a video, I don't know, a few months ago about folks just giving me a heck of a hard time about having it exposed on the outside of the rubber rail here. You know, learn something new every day, right? So did find that there used to be a law in place that outlawed anything being on the outside edge of the rubber rail. However, it appears that that was overturned. It's no longer the case. So, you know, it's a great way that I like to tie them down. I don't like to tie them down like this because if something shakes loose, it can just fall right out. But if you wrap it around, well, hey, it's secured in place. So I find myself now transitioning more to the wire hook style, you know, that goes right onto the D-ring here. I also added on these additional D-rings just to have that many more tie-down points because I carry so many different pieces of equipment, different configurations on here. I wanted to have just a plethora of tie-down locations for my equipment. So what this does, it allows me to keep the entire strap all the way inside. I still don't feel like this really provides as secure of a connection as, you know, wrapping around the hook and having gravity do its thing, just keeping it in place. However, it is completely inside the rubber rail. You know, so unfortunately, I didn't really realize this until after the fact, but some manufacturers offer an actual welded on rail that can be welded right underneath the frame here. So you can utilize a stake pocket, put your strap down through there, and then go underneath here so you're within the rubber rail the whole time, and then latch on and secure with a J-hook right underneath the frame of the trailer itself. Hindsight's always 20/20, maybe on the next one. I want to take a quick minute and tell you about these stake pocket D-rings here, okay? And so these suckers are actually way heftier, way heavier duty than I thought in pictures. You do not have to get them, I think this is this zinc plated? I don't know, I forget. But you can also get them just painted regular. You know, I got these because they're supposed to be more corrosion, you know, rust resistant. But they're a really snug fit that's in here. You know, if you're looking for additional tie down points on your trailer, I mean, in fact, I have to use a hammer to get this right through there. I was concerned about there being a lot of slop, a lot of play that was right up through there. And it turns out that's not the case. Get this right through there, get it in place, and then you can see here, that's really about all the play that there is. Just like that, but really good option here to give you another tie down point if you have stake pockets on your trailer. Not a lot of D-rings, and you can obviously easily move these around if you have different locations. You don't need to get one for every single stake pocket, just get it set up for the different equipment that you're hauling at the time. Nice option here to have. Get links for these in the description underneath the video. I've always struggled with, you know, the painted steel versus a galvanized versus an aluminum trailer. Obviously, I want my equipment to look good, and I think most of us do. However, typically, painted steel is the cheapest route you can go, but it's going to end up looking like this very quickly. And in fact, I'm almost positive, if I remember when I bought this 2.5 years ago, it already kind of looked like this kind of rusty, nasty coloration to it from the very beginning. And this is what I've found, except a lot worse, on the other painted trailers that I've had, painted steel. And so I was really reluctant to go that route again, with the gooseneck that I purchased last fall. However, the aluminum just is not going to hold up in commercial use. It just was not rigid enough. Galvanized isn't really a popular option in goosenecks. I did appreciate the galvanized. I didn't have any weld issues with the galvanized so much, and obviously it gets a little bit of a discoloration to it, but nothing as nasty and gross as this. So when I had my PJ trailer here custom ordered, you know, I went a little bit of a more expensive route, knowing the issues I've had with the rust, the paint failing pretty quickly on these. I had to pull out my invoice. I printed it out because I went through a pretty big expensive upgrade here just to get a primer base on here and then the paint on top of it. Okay, so it was a two-part reason there, and the first part is I paid an extra $435.60 to have this sucker primered first before it was painted. I just felt like it was going to be worth it in the long run. The second part of that is that PJ Trailers only does that at their Texas facility, their production facility down there. So it costs an extra $400 or $500 to also have it shipped up here versus getting it out of maybe a Kentucky or Tennessee plant or somewhere else. It was a lot more freight, and then it was obviously the cost for the primer as well. Time will tell if that's worth it or not, but so far so good. It has made it through its first winter, and it looks pretty good so far. I definitely can't say the same for some other painted steel trailers that I've had. And if you're interested, at the end of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and put up an actual copy of the invoice with everything that I got on this trailer here, so you can see the actual price breakout. I don't sell these trailers, but I'd like to be able to have you see what it's all about. You can see the cost of the different options on there. I'll try to give you a decent explanation of that. So again, I've had quite a few trailers. You know, I do really like trailers that have sides on them for various reasons, when you're maybe moving furniture or, you know, getting a load of mulch, that kind of thing as well. However, it was me doing it from here on out in the future. I would make sure I got a kind of trailer that just had removable sides to it versus fixed sides, you know, with welded uprights and everything else. I'd want everything completely removable around the sides and the back so that I could have an open deck platform if I wanted to, and then just have sectional pieces that go down to the stake pockets, for instance, and they can be easily removed or put back in if I need to. So for instance, if you bought a car hauler setup, just a flat deck, typically they're going to come with stake pockets all along the side. It'd be easy enough just to build your own portable, removable sides out of wood and just have those set aside, maybe under a tarp or inside your garage or barn to use at your convenience. A tough one for me is really trying to find a reputable trailer manufacturer. And so I've had, you know, SureTrack and American Hauler and PJ and just a whole bunch. You know, I can't remember what my enclosed one is, and I've had so many others. A lot of them I think have been homemade. Well, not a lot, probably 3 or 4. Just all sorts of different trailer manufacturers out there. If you look online, it seems like there's just either you love it or you hate it, you know, and I get a lot of freight haulers in here as well with goosenecks, and just about every manufacturer you can think of, you know, Gatormade and Big Tex, and the list goes on, and it's still a love-hate relationship. I actually have a lot of shipments that kind of either get delayed or canceled and rebooked coming into me because of trailer problems, whether it's brakes, you know, locking up, or wiring, or whatever else it might be. So I don't know if there's really a truly superior manufacturer out there or not, but definitely a love-hate relationship with most of these trailer manufacturers. Okay, so I want you to focus kind of on this area right here. Sure, check out everything else if you'd like, but this number right here, the 14,400 pounds, that's what can be hauled, you know, between the combined weight of the trailer itself and then whatever equipment is being hauled on top of it. You know, you got to take into consideration things like, you know, spare tires, if you have extra storage boxes, you know, anything else that you have on there is going to affect your ability to put equipment on here. You're going to have to deduct all the trailer weight and the options from the 14,400 pounds, and then that's going to be the load you can actually put on here. So an interesting thing about this number right here is this trailer was originally rated at 15,680 pounds, and I actually had it down rated. So the reason I did that is because I'm hauling this with a couple different trucks, an F350 and F250. I wanted to make sure I could stay underneath the 26,000 pound weight limit with either setup that I have going on. And so I didn't even know that this was a legal thing to do, but apparently it is, and trailer manufacturers do it all the time. They will downrate them. And so while this trailer technically can haul more weight safely, this is what I am able to haul based on the sticker. There's always the question of what's the right type of trailer to get, you know? An enclosed trailer like this, so everything stays nice and clean and dry. A gooseneck, a bumper pull, one of everything. Why not if you can? I bought this one a couple of years ago. Basically, I needed, another chunk, another write-off, so I bought this right at the end of the year there. Really have not used it like I thought I was going to. Thought I would use it for more deliveries in the wintertime to try to keep tractors clean, that kind of thing. It does have an integrated ramp that folds out. It's also 6 inches taller than standard. That way I could fit larger tractors in there and not be restricted by that overhead height. If I was doing it over again, I probably would not buy this trailer. I really use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, not very often at all. Really just use the open deck trailer over there. That suits my needs almost all the time. Even in the wintertime, we're typically not doing deliveries on nasty days, and so it's going to be those nicer, sunnier days that we're out on the road where an open trailer just like that over there is just fine. At this point though, this thing is paid off, and I just want to keep it on hand in case I need it, because you know how it always goes. As soon as you sell a piece of equipment, that's exactly when you find out that you need it. So I'm just going to hang on to it. So now that I have a gooseneck trailer, I don't know how I could ever really go back to a bumper pull trailer. These pull so much nicer. They feel so much more stable going down the road. It's just a night and day difference. They do cost more up front, and not every truck, if you have a half-ton truck, they're not really set up to haul. But if you have a 3/4 or a 1-ton, boy, I really love the gooseneck setup here. I will say the downside for me is that I do have a camera and looking down into the bed on this truck here. However, when I installed that fuel tank, I can no longer see down to the connection there of the gooseneck going onto the hitch there. So that is a downside for me. So hooking up is perhaps a little bit harder. I have a lot more experience with a bumper pull. That's what I grew up with my whole life. This is being my first gooseneck. I'm still kind of getting the ropes of it. And backing up is still not completely natural to me compared to a bumper pull, but I'm sure it'll come with more time. All right, guys, so if you're curious to know, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my entire invoice up on the screen and kind of go through it here with you really quick. You can see total cost delivered with the tax and plate and title, all that, a little bit over $13,000, $13,169.26. You're gonna see a lot of features on here, the standard features all down below. So some of the options that I added on will override those standard features. And so there won't always be both the standard features and the optional features on there, but added on a lot of options. It is 33 feet long. That's going to include the 5-foot dovetail with monster ramps on there. Oh, what else? Upgrades on the tires, the Load Range G tires, $328. The monster ramps on there were $1,375 upgrade over just the regular flip. The skinny individual flip style. Did not want those. Primer, you can see there, the $435. 8 pairs of D-rings, almost $360. LED reverse lights, $162. Light bar with the 4 lights on there, $373. I probably wouldn't do that one again. They're not LED lights. I just added them on because I wanted some kind of light, but I would change that if I did it over again. 2 extra side marker lights. I will say I had just 3 of the lights, the front 3 lights on the far side that don't work. I do have to take those in to get that looked at. Kind of surprised. Nothing else, everything else works just like it should, but those front 3 lights, the marker lights, are not working. Oh, what else here? Underframe spare tire, got that on there, $365 about. Cold weather wiring harness, and that's no upcharge. Plate for a winch. Oh yeah, that's right. I did add a plate for a winch on there. It's got the wiring in there is ready, so that if you add a battery in there, you can hook up some terminals to it, and as long as your trailer is connected to the truck, it's going to get a trickle charge to that battery for a winch. Pretty cool right there. That was $162. The Bulldog 2-speed jacks, $213 there, and then the ramp support arms. The ramp support arms are so that I can take my monster ramps and store them in a vertical position if needed versus having them completely folded flat. And again, if you like trucks, you like trailers, and you like tractors, well, I suggest you hit that subscribe button below. Make sure you read the description as well. A lot of helpful links in there. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.